Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Markets and Matchups. As always, we'll jump into the markets before we start to chat footy. Okay, Luke, what has been happening with the markets this week?
Well, I think the main thing to talk about is the SpaceX IPO, largest IPO in history, and performed pretty well. So up about 20% on the first day, and then rallied the day after too, up another 20-odd%. So for the people who backed Elon and this new space venture, up about 40% in 2 trading days. Hard to argue with that. I think it's already the 3rd biggest company now in the world, which is pretty amazing.
And he's the first trillionaire as well.
First trillionaire, yeah. The other big piece of news, the RBA holding rates today. So there's a bit of conjecture as to what the next move will be. Some pundits still predicting a rise. Some are now saying that with some unemployment conditions coming a bit weak and consumer confidence a little bit shaky, the next move could actually be a cut. When that happens, who knows? But yeah, I think it'll really dictate things for investors over the next few months.
Yeah, absolutely. What are the key takeaways for investors?
Well, it really depends on that dynamic. Inflation obviously a key for the RBA and their decision making, but more and more they're looking at those other economic indicators. Unemployment has ticked up a little bit. Like I said, retail sales, consumer confidence looking weak. So if that does lead to a rate cut, then it'll be supportive for the equity markets and growth assets in general.
Okay, great. And Ryan, what are some of our key events this week?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of key events, especially in America this coming week. So the US Fed Reserve rate decision is on Wednesday. President Trump is having a press conference at the G7 also on Wednesday. And then the US retail sales data for May comes out on Wednesday. And then we've got the Juneteenth public holiday in America on Friday as well.
Okay, perfect. Any more UFC games at the White House or?
No, I think it was a one and done.
Okay, perfect. Okay, now let's start to talk footy. Well, we started off the weekend of footy with 2 big games, Rabbitohs as well as the Dolphins, both pumping their teams with 48 points. Thoughts?
Well, Broncos, it's their 6th loss in a row.
They're not doing too well.
They're not doing well at all, but it was a pretty convincing performance, I think, by the Rabbitohs. Yeah, what do you think, Luke?
Yeah, look, very emotional game for them. Obviously, the Jai Arrow thing at the start, I thought that was very moving, very powerful. And after that, I thought the Rabbitohs were really going to come out and perform the way they did. And the Broncos, they got some problems. I think they'll be the first premiers in a while not to make the top 8 the next year. So maybe some coaching hot seats or something up there. There's always drama around the Broncos.
Yeah.
And I think Rabbitohs are really, putting up in contention for the top 8. I think they're really kind of cementing themselves there. Big result, as you said, also leading to Origin. What do you think?
Well, I was going to start to touch on the Warriors losing to the Sharks. That was the next game. Always talking about the Warriors, but they lost against the Sharks. Did you expect that or?
Yeah, I mean, we can keep this one pretty quick, but it wasn't a very convincing win by the Sharks. They have beaten the Warriors.
Only 2 points or?
2 points, it was 8-10, But the Sharks have beaten them twice now this season. So, not what I wanted to see for my beloved Wars, but I don't know. I think a good result for the Sharks, I think.
Absolutely. And we had the last game at Leichhardt on Sunday. Tigers, thoughts? Pretty good game. It
was the last game at Leichhardt for 18 months, I think.
Yeah, and 2027.
It was good to see a solid performance from the Tigers. Australian Titans fan.
Lucky round.
Yeah.
I think after Jerome signed for PNG, sort of been a few question marks around him, and I thought that was pretty good of him. Like, really came out and played awesome.
Yeah,
scored that hat trick and
He
really
did.
led them around. I think, hopefully for Tigers fans, got them back on track now after a few sort of stumbles the last few weeks.
For sure.
Well, speaking of Jerome Luai, he's definitely my player of the round. As you said, scored a hat trick.
Yeah.
It was pretty convincing. What about you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Alex Johnson scored 4 tries in the Bunnies game. I think, as you mentioned, having that emotion before definitely made them play, put a bit more love and energy into it. How about you?
Yeah, we touched on the Dolphins scoring 48 points, now in the top 4, and the young halfback, Isaiah Katoa. He's had big raps on him for a while as the next young halfback coming up and really cementing himself now. So, pretty cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we also have Origin coming up.
We did, and
Yes.
I can't really remember what I said last week. I think I said I was going to back the Blues, and I'm going to stick with that. I think the
I'm
Blues
going to
are
back
get
the
up.
Blues, obviously, because I'm loyal to where I live and my origin and whatnot. But sure, yes, we have the Blues. Casey McLean is unfortunately out with injury, which is quite upsetting. Who are you going for? Blues?
Going for the Blues, obviously, but wary always that the NRL loves a decider and down in Melbourne on a neutral field. So I think Queensland get the rub of the green, but fingers crossed the Blues can take it home.
Absolutely. Well, we will see tonight. Thank you guys for watching another episode of Markets and Matchups. We will see you next week for more finance and footy.